interesting maps that teach you about the US. I actually really enjoy checking out these map kind of videos and learning about the stats about America and different parts of America. Before we do get into this video, I appreciate if you guys can hit that subscribe button. I'm also posting extra content on my Patreon if you guys want to check that out. Link is in description. But yeah, let's see what we got with these maps.
The other day, I was scrolling on TikTok and I came across this guy who looks at globes, like world map globes. From the way that the globe looks, he is able to date when it was made by seeing which countries exist and what they're called. This is a great example of how much we can learn from looking at a map. And we can learn even more from a map if it displays data, which is the case of the maps we'll be taking a look at in this video. 12 maps about the United States of America, which provide us with information about each of the states or counties, teaching us interesting information about them and also allowing us to compare them with each other. For each of the maps I show, I'm going to try and draw a conclusion, reasoning, or a characteristic we can attribute to the state because of it. Starting with the ones on the thumbnail. First, average life expectancy. If we round it up or down, the life expectancy age in the United States ranges between 74 to 81 years.
How comes, it's always this area right here that seems to have like the least stats, like, you know, they're the lowest on the life expense. Just watch, like the rest of the maps, I guarantee you that this area in America, it will be like the most unhealthy, or you know what I'm saying. Watch.
That is a pretty big gap. This means that if you live in California, you are on average likely to live 7 more years than someone who lives in Mississippi. In this map, you can see it all. The darker the green, the higher the life expectancy, and the darker the yellow, orange, or red, the lower. Most states have a reasonably high life expectancy, although only 10 are above 80 years old, with Hawaii being the highest and the only one that's above 81 years. The lowest...
Yo, Hawaii, they're living good out there. They're living good.
Seems to be Mississippi at 74.91. 9 states are below the 77 years mark in orange or red, and 5 others below the 78 mark in yellow. This means that a state like California or Hawaii has an equivalent life expectancy to the countries of Portugal or the United Kingdom, while...
Oh wait, the United Kingdom's high on 81 average? Wait, what?
Alabama or Louisiana, the same life expectancy as El Salvador or Libya. There aren't many regional trends when it comes to the highest, although the lowest states are all...
Birth for the US. See, life expectancy at birth? Wait, what?
Concentrated in the east or southeast region. So why do some states have a higher life expectancy than others?
Bro, is this area, man,
that cause the average age to go up or down? I tried looking this up and the answer is pretty much everything. Almost every single factor you can think of will in some way influence a state's life expectancy. Obviously, there are some main influences like socioeconomic status. If you have more money, you perhaps don't deal with as many issues and you're able to afford healthier living conditions. The availability of healthcare in the US also related in part to economic status, but
maybe even crime plays into it, right? Because like, bro, if there's a lot of crime and people are dying earlier, it's gonna bring down the average, you know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure in this area right here, there's also quite a bit of crime. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure isn't there a place, I think it might be in Mississippi, where it's called like Murderville or something. I don't know, I might be making that up or misheard it, but something like that.
There are also other things like education or just a lifestyle that people happen to follow.
But it's like 200 murders or something a year or something. I can't remember to the top of my head, but
there. Who knows, maybe Hawaiians live longer because they get to enjoy more sun and more beach time.
Yo, maybe.
The largest minority by state. And you know what, to be precise, let's do it by county. Caucasians are the largest ethnic group in every single US state. And in only 17 states do they not represent over 50% of the population. However, in some very few counties, non-Hispanic whites are technically considered a minority simply because they do not represent over 50% of the population. It might still be 49. For you to get an idea, according to the latest census, the US population countrywide is 60% Caucasian, 18.5% Hispanic, 12% African American, 5% Asian, and less than 1% Native American. You could
wait. I didn't realize it was that high. 60% for the whole entire of United States. Aye, that's
We
high.
also divide the Caucasians into different origins: Germans, Irish, English, Italian,
Alright, okay.
etc. But the ones which represent the biggest minorities are African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans, and Asian Americans. In this map we can get some pretty interesting pieces of information. First, Asian Americans are the largest minority in very few places. Some that stand out are Seattle, San Jose, Boston, and Honolulu. African Americans are the largest minority in most of the South and East Coast.
Right.
Despite being very few and only a large group in low population counties, Native Americans are able to be the biggest minority in almost all of Oklahoma, as well as some counties in the very north. This next map is about US state mottos. It's categorized in the language that the motto is in, although here they're all translated to English so we can understand them. California is the
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean mottos? Like, each state has its own motto? So, like, the people rule. Friendship. What, Texas is all about friendship? Is this true? Florida is in God we trust. Maine is our lead. Lead what?
only one with a Greek motto, although it's
maybe because like they're kind of like low-key at the top. Like if you're not including Alaska, you know what I mean?
somewhat of an adopted word into every language. Most states' mottos are in English, and the second largest group is Latin. Washington State is the only one in the native Chinook Yagon language. Hawaii's is in Hawaiian.
What is that?
And only 3 states use 3 different languages: French in Minnesota, Italian in Maryland, and Spanish in Montana. When it comes to the mottos themselves, some are interesting, some are more simple and kind of boring. Utah's motto being just industry is kind of weird. Minnesota's Star of the North is pretty cool. Alaska's
Hey, what's your motto, man? Industry. Nice.
North to the Future as well. And despite being very long, Hawaii also has a great one. Tennessee's motto is agriculture and commerce. And while this isn't agriculture, one of the biggest rural commercial activities in the US is the creation of cattle. The next map shows us the amount of cattle per 1,000 people in each county.
Oh, wow.
The legend is above. And what instantly calls our attention,
Yo. More cattle than people. They are roaming the middle part of America, bro. Like, you could do a line right here. Boom, boom, boom. There they are. All the cows. They're everywhere. All the cows, they're everywhere, man.
is the fact that in the counties displayed in red, there are more cows than people.
Rise
Now, many
take
of these
power.
are counties with low population, so we don't need many cows to overcome them, but still, many highly populated counties are also able to have more cattle than people. Countrywide, there are 94 million heads of cattle versus 323 million people, so each cow would still have to take down 3.5 humans in order.
Wait, why are we talking about cows taking on the humans, bro? What? Yo, you imagine if cows just decided one day just to take over?
For them to take power. Cattle farming is an industry that consumes a ridiculous amount of water. The world spends over 12,000 liters of water per kilogram of beef produced. That is a lot. We're always told to save water, and
Wait, per kilogram? Per kilo? Yo.
should, but remember that the biggest spenders are these big industrial companies and not the common people. Although we consume the products that they produce, so it's all connected, but this next map shows us precisely the estimated domestic water usage, essentially how many gallons of water each person uses per day.
You know what? I'm going to hold my hands up and say I was totally wrong about this area down here. In previous maps, this area was the main focus point of the maps. But in this video, it's not really, other than the life, especially one, it's not really the focus point. So, you know what? If you're living in this area right here, hey, congratulations, man. You guys are chilling right now. You guys are chilling. The main focus points have been kind of like in the middle and over here, actually.
On average. This includes watering lawns, etc. The darker the color, the biggest water usage, but remember, this is per capita. The Northeast clearly uses less water, perhaps due to a less hot climate that doesn't demand it as much, but again, the highest value here is 225 gallons per day. Most of these maps need to take into account each state or each county's population because some have significantly more people than others, and that should impact the way we analyze the information displayed. The next map is about population itself and presents us with the percentage change in population per county. So from 2010 to 2020, how much population did each county gain? The county.
Oh, each county gain? So which one is like, oh, wow. 20% change? Okay, a lot of people are moving to Texas. A lot of people are moving to Florida. Over here as well. 20% change is crazy, bro.
Counties in brown are the ones which lost population, although this map doesn't specify how much.
Oh, wait, Texas also lost a lot. Oh, wow.
Much. In yellow or blank are counties that grew up to 5% in the past 10 years, and then the darker the green or blue, the biggest the population growth, up to 20% or more for the darkest shade. We need to remember though that if a county has 100 people and it grows to 130, then it grew 30% just by gaining 30 people.
Right.
While if a county has 100,000 people and grows to 120, it just grew 20%. The percentage might be smaller, but the value itself is higher. So these maps are a little misleading, and this perhaps justifies the fact that we don't see that high of a percentage growth on the coasts.
Yeah, that is a little bit misleading, because like, what if like a population is, because population is a lot greater over here than over here, right? So like, or like in the middle. So let's say this dot right here, I'm definitely wrong with this, but let's say there was like 1,000 people here, bro, and then like 100 people went there. Do you know what I mean? That would be a greater percentage than, let's say, 10,000 people going over here. So yeah,
perhaps justifies the fact that we don't see that high of a percentage growth on the coasts, the highest populated areas in the country, while we see 20% and over increases in many of the Midwest and northern counties. However, there are some exceptions in Texas and the East Coast, especially.
Wait, is everyone just on the shoreline? Total population on the shoreline is 124 million. 40%? 40% on the shoreline? Hey, you guys like your beaches, man. You guys like your beaches.
Florida, where high population areas also show high percentage increases. So far, we've been looking at a US map divided between states or counties, but what if the country was divided in another way? Many of the lines dividing these regions are artificial. They resulted of some treaty or agreement, but mostly decided by a group of men with a map, a ruler, and a pen. What if this hadn't been the case, and the internal borders of the US were based not on these fictional lines, but on the natural barriers of the land?
Oh, wow.
Mostly, if not exclusively, rivers, lakes, and mountains and valleys. In this hypothetical map made by the Atlas Pro, the content.
Yo, this is so weird to look at right now. This is actually so weird.
The continental US would be divided not into 50, but into 28 separate states. And honestly, they look pretty good. That forsaken part of Michigan that is in the Wisconsin Peninsula is gone. For that reason alone, I think they
look pretty good. I don't like the look of this.
A valid hypothesis. When we overlap this division map with a map that contains the rivers of the US, or one that contains the mountainous regions, we can understand why these divisions are where they are. And while this will obviously never happen, it does sound like more of a logical division. Does anyone know why state borders are the way they are? If you don't, I can make a video about it, because I honestly don't know either. The next map is about megaregions. But what is a megaregion? In the US, megaregions are clustered networks of cities, similarly to what happens in Japan with their megalopolis, or the Taiyo belt, which connects various cities. It's literally that. Urban centers that are so big that they end up connecting with each other. In the US, there are 11, according to this map, and they are estimated to contain a total population of over 237 million people. About 2/3 of the entire country lives in these 11 areas.
Wait. So 200 something million out of... Bro, this just shows that, like, I know... Wait, this was very mounty. Wait, what? This just shows that, like, not many people actually live in, like, the areas that my mouse is going over right now. That's crazy, bro. 2/3 of the population live in the highlighted parts right here. That's yo, your country is just so big. It is so big. You have more than enough room for me to come and bring all my family.
In fact, some of the megaregions are so large that they're beginning to connect with each other, like North and South California, Piedmont Atlantic, the Northeast and the Great Lakes, and the Texas Triangle and the Gulf Coast already have. This is mostly due to population concentration in cities rather than the countryside. And who lives in cities? People. What do people sometimes follow? Religions. Was this a forced transition? Yes. The next map shows us the percentage of people following the Jewish faith by each US state. And I was surprised by how low it is. The highest value is just over 7%, and that's only found in the state of New York. The cluster of states around it on the East Coast have percentages between 3 and 7. Florida and California range between 3 and 5, and then only a handful of other states have between 2 to 3% of their population being Jewish, with the vast majority being 0 or at most 1. And in contrast, we can look at Christianity, this time by county. This map doesn't present us with the values or percentage of people that are Christian. Instead, it presents us with a division between Protestantism, Catholicism, and Mormonism.
You know what? I actually don't know the difference between these. I actually don't. I really don't. I was going in on it, talking about this topic actually on my stream the other day. And there's so many different like types of Christianities. I didn't realize. I actually genuinely didn't.
And allows us to see which areas of the US have a prevalence of one of these 3 types of Christianity. Only Utah and part of Idaho are Mormon. The vast majority is mostly Protestant. And then we have some areas that are more Catholic, mostly on the upper East Coast, California and southern Louisiana, as well as southern Texas. Nevada and Arizona seem to be the states where the 3 types of Christianity mix the most. You know who's a Catholic country as well? Portugal. And in this other map, we can see the percentage of Portuguese Americans by state. This might actually be why the Upper East Coast has a high level of Catholics.
Oh wow, wait. Yo. Wait, is Portugal like a very like Portuguese Americans? I've never heard of like someone say they're Portuguese American before. Interesting. And there's 9%. This area is like crowded, bro.
Rhode Island has the largest percentage with 9% of the population being Portuguese. Massachusetts is next with around 5%, and then these states around it as well. On the West Coast, California, Nevada, and Oregon each have up to 1% of the population, and Hawaii surprised me, having at least 3% of its residents being of Portuguese origin.
Oh wow.
And finally, a cool map that shows us the oldest building in each state, establishing a key difference between 2 categories, those who were built by natives and those who were built by colonizers. Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico have the oldest remaining buildings.
Wait. The 8th century? Ancestral Puebloan dwellings. Wait, I gotta search that up. And it's spread across all 4 states. Wait, huh? Wait, what is that?
Dating back to around the year 750, built by the ancestral native Pueblo people. The only other 2 states that have pre-colonial buildings as their oldest are Georgia, the Okmulgee Earth Lodge from 1015, and Hawaii, the Malaeo Eyau from 1200. And what's also interesting is how this map allows us to see which areas were colonized first and last. The East Coast was the earliest, dating back to the 17th century. Only Puerto Rico and Kansas have 16th century buildings as remnants of the Spanish colonial empire. Then comes the West Coast and the area further west of the East Coast, along with Texas, colonized next with buildings from the 18th century. And finally, the middle area of the US and Alaska, which were colonized later, with the oldest buildings being from the 19th century.
Yo, so, I really want to check out this right here, bro. This right here, what was built in 750. I want to see this. I actually want to see this. I want to see what it looks like.
Being from the 19th century. So, those were some interesting maps about the US that teach us important information about the country and each of its states or counties. And like I said at the beginning, allowing us to compare them with each other on a few of the subjects.
Right. Very, very different to the maps we've seen before. I definitely did learn something. I will enjoy checking out the comment section here, seeing what you guys have to say about some of the things I was confused on. Great video. Hope you guys enjoyed as well. If you did, make sure you give a thumbs up. Subscribe for more content. I'm live every single day on twitch.tv/L3WG. If you guys want to check me out over there, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.